Hey guys, it's Pinkstar and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be going through my December wrap up. So this was the end of 2022 and I'll also tell you my top 10 books of the year because it's 2023 now and I need to get this done. So we are going to be doing that. I did only manage to read 3 books in December, which I kind of thought was going to happen because of Christmas and everything like that. It's a busy time in December for my work as well, so yes, reading unfortunately was a little bit on the back burner, but we did read 3 books and they weren't like short books, so there is that. But I didn't manage to read Caraval, Grace of Kings, or Let It Snow. So I didn't even read my Christmassy book, but for some reason I wasn't really in the mood for it anyway. Yeah, and Grace of Kings unfortunately I had to take back to the library. So yeah, that didn't happen. And eventually I'll get around to reading Caraval because I've had this on my TBR twice and I still haven't read it and I really need to get onto it. But anyway, let's go through the books that I did read and I'll give you my thoughts. First up, I read As Old as Time. I did have a physical copy of this. I borrowed it from my mum, and this is a Beauty and the Beast retelling, and I actually really enjoyed the story. So the whole premise is that Belle's mother is the enchantress who cursed the beast and the household. And it's just really interesting to see like why she did that, what happened, why she's not in Belle's life anymore, things like that. And the whole story was pretty much completely different to the original Beauty and the Beast, obviously with all the same characters, etc., and same sort of plot points, but slightly changed. And I don't want to give away any spoilers, but let's just say the ending is completely different and wasn't what I expected, but I really enjoyed this one. Obviously it's nothing like completely revolutionary. There's been a lot of Beauty and the Beast retellings and I did prefer the Little Mermaid retelling to this one. So I gave this a 3.5 star. It was still really good. It just wasn't super amazing. It was a really easy read. It's got big writing. It's just quick, easy. You just flip through it really fast. So even though there was like 480 something pages in this book, it went really quickly and I did really enjoy it. So 3.5 stars for this one. Next up we have Where the Light Dies by Gillian Grant. This was an ARC copy and I love this series so much. So this is the 4th book in the Blood of Eth series. I thought there was only going to be 3 and then it turns out to be a 4th, and I know there's a 5th book coming out in like June and I need it ASAP because the ending of this book, yeah, I need to know what's going to happen straight away because the characters have kind of split up and not in the best of situations, so the sooner we get book 5 the better. But I absolutely love this. I gave this a 4.5 star. I think it's the same as I gave the last 2. I think I gave book 1 4, possibly 4.5, I can't remember. But I love this series. Honestly, all of them have just had like one little thing that's like pushed it down from a 5 because they are all so close to a 5. This one especially, this is my favorite out of all of them. I absolutely love this. I think I enjoy getting different characters' point of views because in this one you get both Everyn's point of view, which has been the main point of view from the whole series, but we also get Abraxas' point of views because now Abraxas is separate from the rest of the party and he is in the past from the last book. We get to find out like how things are different now from when he was originally in that time period, and yeah, it's just really interesting. I really enjoyed this story. My only critique that brought it down from a 5 was that there's this like shadow place, and I just feel like it was a little bit confusing the way it was described. I just couldn't really picture it in my head, and I think that was the one thing that just brought it down a little bit for me, because I had to reread a couple of passages and I just wasn't 100% sure about what it was like, because I think it's shadow magic and shadow environments are all very strange, because it's something you can't really picture or imagine, because obviously nothing like that really exists. So yeah, it was just a little bit odd the way it was written, but I mean, it could have just been me or not reading it correctly and not fully understanding. That's just, you know, how it is. Some people might have understood it perfectly fine, but yeah, absolutely loved this book. I loved finding out more about Arce's backstory and his past and why he is the way he is. He's such a fun goblin. I love him. And yeah, it's just all of these books, we seem to get somebody's backstory and a little bit of more information about each character in the story, and I really enjoy that. So yes, if you like a Dungeons and Dragons-y type adventure story with good world building, great characters, a little bit of a love story, yeah, highly recommend this series. You should definitely check it out, The Blood of Aeth. It is Gillian Grant's first series, and I think she's done a phenomenal job. I absolutely love it, and this book really explores how time and different situations can change people, and I really enjoyed that. So yeah, 4.5 stars. Alright, lastly we have The Daylight War by Peter V. Brett. This is the third book in the Demon Cycle series, and I read this one on audiobook. I got it out from my library, and I love this. This is my favourite by far out of the series so far. I absolutely loved getting backstory from Inevra. I find her story really interesting, and just everything she's been through and what she's overcome to get to where she is now. Yeah, I love getting the backstories of each of the characters, but yeah, I really enjoyed Inevra's story. Also, we got a lot of Arlen and Renna together, and I loved them so much, and so happy that we got good stories from them as well. All the characters just got so much great character development, and I just really enjoyed this story. So this one pretty much pits the two sides off against each other almost. The thing about the series is that it's really interesting with the two different areas and how their religious beliefs and ways of life have to kind of intermingle a little bit in this one, because Jadir has kind of come over from Crazia to kind of take over the Greenlanders for his war, that he believes he is the deliverer who's going to destroy the demons. So he's trying to get an army, and so he's kind of pushed his ways onto the Northerners, and the Northerners believe that Arlen is the deliverer. He doesn't think so, but the people do, and so they're trying to keep their ways but also trying to appease Jadir's people, and Jadir and Arlen haven't seen each other since Jadir tried to kill him in the first book. So yeah, it's very tense, especially towards the end, and the ending was an OMG moment, and I need to read the next one because I don't know what's happened. Yeah, I need to know. But anyway, Demon War is coming, I think there's 2 more books, so either in the next one or the following one we're going to get some more demon action, that's for sure. We definitely saw a lot more of the demons in this as well, and I just really loved this book. So this was my 5-star read, book of the month. Absolutely loved it. Highly recommend this series. I don't know why more people don't actually recommend this one, but yeah, I really enjoyed it. Also, I like this way more than the first one. my negative of it was that there was a lot of like putting down of women, like with rape and like sexual assault and things like that, which I felt was a little bit unnecessary, but I kind of see why it was put in, because that was kind of what happened in those days, sort of thing, for like the time period that it's set. But I still don't really like to read about sexual assault and things in my stories. So that was the main critique from that. But since then, it seems to have gotten less and less, and I feel like the female characters are really starting to stand out, especially in this one. As I said, Nevra, loved her backstory. I also love Rena. And yeah, how she's grown and changed as a person. So good. Love Leisha as well. She is such a strong woman. So yeah, definitely love this one the most, and I am looking forward to reading the next one, so I'll have to get that one soon and give that one a read. Alright, so that is it for all the books that I read in December. Just the 3, but they were goodies. Alright, so moving on to my top 10 books of 2022. This is all my 5-star reads plus some 4.5-star reads, but some of these were actually from the same month. So even though I did a monthly list where I chose the best book of each month and then put them against each other to find my book of the year, not all of those appear in my top 10 because I didn't want to include multiples of the same series in my top 10 as well. I've just chosen my favorite from the series, if that is the case. But yeah, it's a pretty good list. So starting off at number 10, we have These Hollow Vows by Lexi Ryan. Really enjoyed this one. This I read in January, and it wasn't my book of the month. It was the second runner-up to book of the month in January, but really enjoyed this one, definitely more than the sequel to this. Number 9, Crooked Kingdoms by Leigh Bardugo. This is the second book to Six of Crows. Absolutely love this. So good. Yeah, highly recommend that duology. Number 8 was Where the Light Dies. This is obviously one that I read in December, and I've just talked a heap about this, so I'm not going to go on anymore, but yeah, my favourite out of the Blood of Eve series. Number 7 was Daughter of the Moon Goddess. I love this. It's such a pretty story. I can't wait to read the second book to this one. But yeah, really enjoyed this, and this was another 4.5-star read. It was the book of the month for that month, but yeah, really enjoyed this one. Alright, number 6. This is actually the first of my 5-star reads, and this was Daylight War, which I've just talked heaps about, so I'm not going to go on about it. Number 5. The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo. This was the first book that I think I read this year. Yeah, first 5-star that I ever gave out, and I absolutely loved this book. It had me sobbing for like the last 10 pages, maybe longer than that, maybe last couple of chapters. So good. I should mention that I'm not including books that were rereads either. So only one book from a series, and also not including any rereads, because I did have a couple of 5-star rereads, but I'm not including them. Alright, number 4, we have House of Sky and Breath. This is definitely not my favourite book from Sarah J. Maas, but I love her writing so much, and I still really enjoyed this book. And that ending, I need to know what's going to happen next so bad. So yeah, I did give this 5 stars, but it is definitely on the lower end, and probably my love for the first book is what boosted it up to a 5-star. It probably doesn't deserve it, but I still really enjoyed it, and yeah, I love it. So there, and the first book is like one of my favorite all-time books. So at number 3, we have The Final Strife. This book I loved. It was an ARC book that I received, and I do need to get the physical copy because I want to own it, and I'm so excited for book 2 that comes out this year. Yeah, so good. Really loved the characters and the world, and it was just really interesting the way it was done, using blood types to show societal hierarchies. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, really interesting story, and I'm really looking forward to the next book. Number 2 was Ninth House by Leigh Bardugo. This book is one of my new all-time faves. I love it so much. I can't wait for Hellbent. It comes out soon and I've already pre-ordered it. Can't wait. But yeah, loved this. I'm actually going to be listening to this on audiobook as like a reread before I read Hellbent, because I need to do a bit of a refresher. But absolutely love this. Love the characters. Need to know what's going to happen. The whole murder mystery thing with the dark academia feels and like the magical fantasy elements. Just thoroughly enjoyed this so much. Yeah, this boosted Leigh Bardugo into one of my favorite authors. So yeah, there we go. Alright, number 1, drum roll. It is Shadow of the Gods by John Gwynne. I love this book so much. So this was also another ARC book. So I read 2 ARC books that were 5 stars in 2022, which is phenomenal. Yeah, I haven't read anything by John Gwynne before. I didn't know what to expect. Loved this so much. I actually went and got a physical book, so now I own the copy because, you know, I loved it that much. And I've already got book 2 as well, which I'm super excited to read. Yeah, John Gwynne, probably one of my new all-time favorite authors. And that's after reading 1 book. So there, I can't wait to read the next one, and I want to read the rest of all of John Gwynne's works because of this book. So that is that. I absolutely love this. I love the fact that we got 3 different point of views, and just the whole story in general and how they all kind of end up intermingling. I don't know, it's just really good. I love the whole Norse mythology and the whole idea of there being gods that have now all died, and that there's like pieces of them that people can absorb kind of their power. I don't know, it's just really good. If you haven't read it, you should. That's all there is to it. If you're a fantasy lover, read this book. So yeah, so that is it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't already, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of my future videos. Thanks for watching, guys, and I will catch you all in the next one. Bye!